they're going to have to give reports in front of people, and they're going to have to remember things, and they're going to have that calm and that poise, and be able to give appropriate inflection when they're giving their speeches. And we've graded on this a lot from the rest, from now on. And so doing it here in the comfort of their school with lots of support for their first time is really important. They have to learn how to do it first before they go out, and then they're just asked to do it willy-nilly, because that's what will happen. They'll just be asked, okay, you just got to do this. And they'll go, whoa. So having a chance to do it here is really helpful for them, and it's nice to see all of you supporting them doing this. And I hope, let's see, I don't know if I gave you the, I'll pass these down. I hope it's going to be working okay. This is the end of the year presentations, and I'll give some of you these to pass down if you don't mind. We have 7 children and 6 presentations. It's going to take a little while, because some of them are nervous and will go slow, and some will go fast. But the order that they're going to do this, we have 3 of our kids who are doing biographies on a famous person who happens to be dyslexic. The others are going to do presentations on dyslexia also, but a different part of that. So they've chosen what they would like to do, and they're going to share that with us tonight. So the first person I'd like to introduce is Everett Havey.
You may know who John Lennon was, or at least you've heard of him. He was a musician, singer, songwriter, and a social activist. John Lennon was born on October 9th, 1930. He was born in Liverpool, England during a German air raid in World War II. John Lennon's father was a merchant seaman who did not see his son when he was young. When John was 4, his parents separated, and John went to live with his Aunt Mimi. John's mother, Julia, later remarried. Julia visited her son regularly. Julia taught John how to play the banjo and the piano. John was dyslexic, but his teachers didn't know that. John got into trouble at school often. He was a prankster and loved getting in trouble. In school, John drew grotesque figures and cripples. He did not get good grades in school, but he did have artistic talent. John shared later in an interview that he knew he was a genius. John wondered why someone hadn't discovered him. He knew he was cleverer than anybody in the school. John's mother and Aunt Mimi encouraged John to have a strong belief in himself. John's mother bought him his first guitar that helped John succeed in life in spite of his dyslexia. But John was unable to graduate from high school because he couldn't pass his testing. John's spelling was poor, but John enjoyed writing poetry. Elvis Presley's music inspired John when he was 16. John met Paul McCartney on July 6, 1957. John invited Paul to be in his group. In 1958, John's mother was killed in a car accident. John never got over that. Together, John and Paul formed the most successful band in history. John Lennon is famous for forming the Beatles. John was the leader of the band and a leader of his generation throughout the rest of his years. The Beatles were soon discovered in 1961 by Brian Epstein. They all released their first single in October 1962. John Lennon married Cynthia Powell and had a son named Julian. They divorced in 1968. John remarried that following year. He married Yoko Ono. The Beatles started to break out in 1965 in the United States. They appeared on television's Ed Sullivan Show on February 9, 1964. In August 1965, the Beatles performed for 55,600 fans at New York City Stadium. John left the Beatles in September 1969, just after the group completed recording a song. John Lennon wrote 71 songs entirely by himself. Altogether, John had a hand in composing 84 of the 209 songs recorded by the Beatles. John Lennon died on December 8, 1980. John was outside of his apartment when Mark David Chapman approached him. Chapman sought John several times. John Lennon was only 40 years old when he died. Today, John Lennon is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He is remembered for forming the Beatles and writing songs. The Beatles changed music as we know it by experimenting with different types of music and with different instruments. This encouraged other bands to do the same. They set trends for music and style for many years.